Okay, let me get in the right frame of mind here. I'm just walking around downtown. Sometimes that's fun. Sometimes that's inspiring. Sometimes it's not. I was just bumping into a bunch of jerks. So I'm kind of in a mood right now. I don't even know what kind of a mood I'm in, but I'm in some kind of mood. Are actual men and women becoming extinct? Are we? Are the normal people, not the crazies out there, are the normal people becoming extinct? There are far too many insecure, attention-starved, brainwashed people walking around waiting to be told what to say, waiting to be told what to do, instead of just interacting with people and respecting them for people being people. What the hell's going on here? I'm seriously concerned about this world. And it's weird to think that maybe you could have some sort of a small positive effect on the way all that stuff plays out, but I just want to vomit. So that's the kind of mood I'm. Let me try to, I'm shaking my head here. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. Please like and subscribe. It's great to have you here. Whew. Okay. Here we go. By the way, thank you so much for the comments on the last couple shows. 2 shows ago, I had my buddy Mike Pace on. He's a stand-up comedian, but he and I kind of fancy ourselves as philosophers, and we like talking about life. We like joking around. We've had 2-hour phone conversations where we've said absolutely nothing to each other of substance, and then we've had the sit-down talk where we're just like, I'm glad I have a friend like that. One of our listeners, or one of the listeners, commented on it, and they put it right. He goes, "You guys are awesome. You sound like 2 8-year-olds sitting in a sandbox playing with toy dump trucks, talking about important shit." I'll take it. I like that. And of course, the last show has turned out like I didn't think it was going to be controversial, but I got an email. The last show where I kind of was calling out some people, one specific person, about their business practices, and they're a fraud. Now, I did not hear from this person per se by himself, but I heard from somebody, and they asked politely, they're very professional about it, threatening me with a lawsuit, a light lawsuit, and threatening me, just asking me to take it down because this really does no good for anybody, saying things along the lines of, we want you to become more aware of what's really happening out there and how things are really done. Maybe you just need to be informed a little more. That's right. It's my fault. You're right. I stand by the show. I didn't say any names. I talked to an attorney. It's staying up. And it's not there for an argument. It's there for a reference point for people like me who want to live a positive lifestyle and are just really sick and tired of all the bull crap with it, all the fakeness, all the fraud, all the pretty, beautiful people begging beautiful people to get followers. I mean, like I said in the last show, it'd make a great movie, but it's not a great lifestyle. It's not a great lifestyle. So I stand behind that. Okay. I've manifested so many things in my life just by sheer will and sheer just wanting to do something so badly. I didn't need to pay somebody $3,000 for a lesson on how to manifest and how to make things happen. When's the last time you saw an interview of a very successful person and they go, so how did you get there? How did you do it? Oh, it's simple. I just followed so-and-so's steps and voila, I made it happen. No, that's not the way things happen. In my opinion, these aren't really rules, but there are 3 ways that I operate on, and you could choose to use these or not. This show is not a preachy, do things my way show. It's just ideas. Okay. But I'm cheering you on. Know that I am cheering you on just like I'm cheering myself on. No one else is cheering me on that I know of. People are a little interested. Say, hey, what's this guy up to? Some people have already made up their mind. Up, fail, all that kind of stuff. But I put a lot of pressure on myself to make things happen, and I have been able to do that my entire life. The things you need to know, and I'm going to give it like three things. Do it your way. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. Trial and error. Do it your way. Nobody knows you. Nobody knows your product. Nobody knows your message like you do. And it's just a talent. And it only happens after you've been doing it for a while to be able to express your vision to others very clearly to where they go, oh, I get it. I buy in. Thank you. I get it. That type of thing. There's no right way, no wrong way. Okay. That's number one. The second one is you need a clear, I mean, a ultra clear vision of what you want. Not like, oh, I want to be a rock singer. No, you need a clear vision. You need what band you're in. You need the way you're going to look. You need to know everything about that job. You need to have a clear vision and you need to start doing it right then. But you also need to be flexible and be aware when things aren't working and you're getting enough messages that maybe I'm doing this wrong, maybe there's other ways to do it. You need to be flexible, you need to be able to make changes on the fly, but you need a absolute defining clear description of what you want in your head. Okay, you need that. And then this is where I struggle the most, but I'm pretty good at it now, is when do you stop? When do you quit? When do you give it up? When do you go, I've had enough? And you only quit. You only quit when that passion leaves your soul. When you no longer think about it at night, when you no longer think about it during the day, when you're no longer watching a video on it or a how to this or a how to that or reading a book on something, that when that goes away, then you could get rid of your dream or your goal. But that's it. You got to just keep after it. If it's something, let it frustrate you. You got to feel like you're failing. You have to feel like you're failing to know when you're hitting all the right spots. So yeah, you don't need to pay anybody $3,000 for that. There, a little free thing for you. Hopefully you could try some of that and it will work for you as well. All right. Okay. I said on the last show that I was going to tell you today what T11 stands for. The name of the show, T11 with Terry James. And like I said, T is not for Terry. 11 is not because of my basketball number, because I was born in November. It has nothing to do with that. Just awesome coincidences. I love that it kind of matches up with it. The T stands for something that I truly believe that we are all doing, whether we know it or not. We're transforming, we're transcending. The T stands for that. We are moving forward in life. That's what the T stands for. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. It stands for moving forward, transcending, being open for really amazing things. Now, the number 11 is the interesting part. And I don't want to blow people off with this, it's kind of a spiritual awakening number. Google it. You can see what I'm talking about. I'm not making this stuff up. The number 11 has to do with the power of manifestation and how powerful you truly are, and that we are capable to do a lot of things. And it's weird that a number's associated with that. It's called the Illuminator. And I just put them together, and I'm hoping that anytime I see the logo, I'm reminding myself that I'm growing and I'm making shit happen. That's all it is. That T11 means we're growing, means that we're making things happen. It's not a brag. It's not a this. It's not a that. It's just to me, it's a powerful logo. It's a powerful title. And I hope that over time that it will become powerful to you as well. If it is powerful to you as well, you could get, I've got to think, a t-shirt up for grabs on there, or maybe a hoodie. I don't know what's on there. If you go to terryjames.com, you click on the merch, you can pick some up, and I'm going to be making some really cool stuff with the logo for those of you that like it. And it's not about the show. The shirt isn't about the show. The shirt is just a reminder for you to go, yeah, I'm moving forward, doing things my way. I'm making shit happen. Get out of my way. That's it. That's all it is. All right. So let's catch up a little bit. I've been working out a lot more. I'm sure you could tell. Oh, I just put my arm up and it doesn't, it's not even bigger than the microphone. If you're looking at it on YouTube, it's not even bigger than the microphone. That's puny. Anyway, I've been working out. I'm feeling a lot better. The one thing that I am not getting good at is sleep. I am just killing myself when it comes to sleep. And I'm trying so hard. And my wife and I, now I look bad going to bed every night. I get into my own head. I'm having a real tough time with this. And Sherry even suggested, why don't you go get a sleep study done or go talk to a sleep therapist? It's getting to a point where I feel like I'm just being hazy during most days during the week. I have no problem on the weekend sleeping. At night, I just fire off all kinds of stuff. I have a lot of interest, a lot of ideas. In fact, one of these things I'm about to tell you about came to me in a sleepless night, and I'm going to give it a try. And I'm going to let you know what that is here in a second. But I do have these other things that I really enjoy doing as well. And I want to try to find time for that. Like I like art, but I only like a specific type of art. I am drawn to shapes and colors, uh, clean lines, like architecture. I like the clean lines. I like that mid-century modern stuff. I don't like a bunch of clutter, but I am drawn to the art where you look at it and you look at it and you stare at it and you go, it kind of feels cool, but it's not a painting of anything. I could do that. It's just a bunch of dots and lines and squishes and smears and all that. It's contemporary stuff. And I love that stuff. And I've been doing that, but I'm not showing anybody. I haven't shown anybody that stuff. But I think I may found a way to expose it to some people that aren't going to tear me a new one. And I'm going to talk about that here in a second. And also a way for you to do the same thing. I also want to play drums. I used to play drums. I would love to have a drum set, but living in a condo, you just can't do it. There's no room. I don't have a room. I'd be bothering the neighbors, all that kind of stuff. So if we move, and hopefully it'll have a place where I can put a drum set in there. And I don't want to be in a band. And there's nothing like that. I just like putting on headphones and feeling like I'm doing something and beating out some energy. Oh, that sounded nasty, didn't it? And then, of course, I have something that I've always wanted to do. I just don't know exactly which way to go with this, but I do know that it is now becoming a priority. And I want to write. I want to write a book. And I want it to be something, I'm not sure exactly what it is yet. And but I have to take some massive action on writing because I think it'll be a great exercise, even if it doesn't become a book for anybody else. I think it'll be great. So, but then of course there's all those skeptics out there that are going to give me shit about all those things I mentioned. People are going to give you shit. That's what this world is becoming, man. Skeptics, naysayers, they're there to bring us down at any turn, aren't they? So it's really hard to share some of our dreams with each other, knowing that you're going to be slapped down. I mean, I'm around so many negative, insecure, skeptical people that it's painful. When did it become not cool to be hopeful? If you are hopeful and you want to have positive conversations, you're laughed at nowadays. You're looked at as weak because you want to connect with somebody. I don't get it. So here's a way that I think that we could connect with each other. Okay. All right. I don't want to spend my life like that. So I am taking matters into my own hands. And if any of this makes sense to you, I have put together a private Instagram account where we can share our dreams. We could share our art. We could share a passage from our book. We could talk about a logo we want because we're opening up our own business. We could, anything that we are taking a risk at doing. You're invited to this. I'm going to leave it open for the first 100 people, though, and then see how it goes. And I'll shut it off. And then maybe in a few weeks, I'll open it up for more people. But it's called Calling All Wombats on Instagram. I'm not promoting it anywhere else that like on social media. You're just going to hear it through word of mouth, whether it's something I post on, me talking or right now. It's called Calling All Wombats all together, and my name's not on there. Just ask to be invited in. I'm going to invite you in, and we will be there to support one another, give each other ideas, bounce some things off of each other, critique things. There's nothing wrong, and you need it. You need a helpful criticism of what you're doing, but you're doing it out of love. You're doing it out of, I want to see this person succeed. I know they may not do it my way, but have you thought about this? That type of stuff is what that Instagram account is going to be. And I will follow back and we will make things happen on that coming up. Okay. So once again, that's Calling All Wombats. All right. We'll see what happens. And there, I'll share maybe some of that possible book idea. One of the ideas, and it's just an idea I'm having for a book, is I'm noticing that my light is dimming a little bit. I don't know if it's age. I don't know if it's the fact that I'm not sleeping. I don't know if I've got too many things on my plate. I don't know, but I just feel a little overwhelmed. I don't feel that spark that I used to have, and I want to get that spark back. And that's something that I believe that I'm working on. I've been working on this for many years. I have had this isn't a new feeling. I've had this feeling for a long time. In fact, I've done other podcasts on it. I've talked to anybody who will listen about it. And I'm coming up with some ideas of, I think, a way for us to get that fearless feeling back that we've had when we were younger. We were fearless. We didn't give a damn about anything. I didn't care about a yes or a no. I was set on doing something. I didn't know you couldn't do things. I love being beautifully naive about things. And I think that that is a key to making your dreams come true. When you start following somebody's rules, you start following what other people say and all that, you're never going to go anywhere. You got to have that a certain amount of naivety. Or did I say that right? I can't even say that word right, but it's a very, very important to become naive again. And I'm working on ways to responsibly become naive again. I mean, I think we're totally capable of this, of balancing those two things, being responsible for what you really need to take care of, but also pushing away all the naysayers, pushing away all the stuff, the rules out there that say you can't get something done. Look at all the people that, like that are out there doing things with a physical handicap or, an age restriction, or there are no restrictions when you're naive. There's nothing about that. Listen, if you're doing something you love right now, okay, and I hope you are, but if you're doing something you love right now and you're making no sales on it, maybe you make clothes or t-shirts or whatever, candles, I don't know, you have zero sales. You have a podcast like this, doesn't have a lot of listeners. You've got no listeners. You've got nobody watching. You have nobody commenting, just a few, um, you get no likes, no followers, none of that. And you're still doing it. You're still doing this. You're kind of lonely, sitting in a dark room, coming up with ideas and doing things, working on your music. Congratulations. You figured it out. You're exactly where you need to be right now. Being naive is a gift. It's an absolute gift. Have you seen the movie? God, I got to watch it again. Maybe I'll do that this weekend. It's one of my favorite all-time movies. It's called Being There. It stars Peter Sellers, I believe Shirley MacLaine. Peter Sellers plays this guy named Chauncey Gardner, and he's a gardener at a mansion, and he's a very simple man, mental. He's clueless about a lot of things. He doesn't know the difference between, he doesn't know the rules of you can't do things. And he starts talking to people, and people start to go, either this guy's crazy or he's a genius. And over the more and more over the course of the movie, people start to think he's a genius. He's hanging out with presidents. He's doing all kinds of stuff, but he doesn't know why. He doesn't know why people are into him. He just speaks from the heart. He speaks from a place where there are no rules, where there's nobody telling you you can't do this. There are other ways to think about things. In fact, I'm going to tell the end of the movie because oh my God, it is so powerful. To me, it's one of the most powerful endings of a movie of all time. And listen, it's a spoiler alert, but Christ's sake, the movie's been out for 1,000 years. Okay. So it's really not a spoiler alert. At the end of the movie, like when the credits are rolling, he's taking a walk out on, there's a lake, and he starts walking towards the lake. And the next thing you know, he's walking on the water. And he's only doing this because he doesn't know you can't walk on water. It's such a powerful message. You have to watch it. It's called Being There. And I take that type of stuff to heart. A lot of people go, it's just a movie. Yeah, none of this can happen. I believe this stuff. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've been able to make things happen, is because I truly believe this. The book Illusions by Richard Bach, I've had him on podcast before. He wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull. I told him, and I had the opportunity to do this, and it made my day, that I used to take his book, a fiction book, and I used to put it in the nonfiction categories in bookstores because it's real to me. Illusions is a real book to me. Okay. So it's really cool. I think we all need some of that innocence back. I think we all need to harness that being naive and just not paying attention to what's out there, all the people out there saying you can't do it, and all the reasons. We can come up with so many reasons why we can't do something over how we can. And you have to train yourself to say, how can I do this, instead of why I can't do this because of this. All right. So bottom line, if people are talking about your back, about behind your back, about an idea you have, or a dream you have, or a belief, or a decision you made, you're crushing it. I am so happy for you. I am so happy for you. It is such a powerful thing. I mean, for me, I'm choosing right now to live my life online. And at my age, that's an irrational thought. Being a creator, stepping into that world at my age, totally irresponsible, totally irrational. And I know people are thinking that. I know they are. I know my wife is looking at me sideways like, hey, what the hell's this guy doing again? It's Dreamer Terry. But look around. I made some things happen. I've got somewhat of a track record. But I mean, I'm probably hitting 20%, but I'm doing some of the things I never thought I would be able to do. I'm doing things that people never thought that I would be able to do. So doing this right now, like I said, this is a totally irrational thing. I look cringy. I know I look cringy doing this. A guy on YouTube, doing a, podcaster for anybody. But I mean, I got a goal and a dream behind this. I'm not just doing this to do it. I mean, this is a passion. I think about it all the time. I think about spending time with my wife. I think about being the best husband I could be. I'm more and more thinking about my health. These are all priorities for me. I think about the Lex and Terry show nonstop, but I've gotten into a zone there where I know how to work it over the last 30 something years. But this I'm thinking about all the time. I don't know what the future of YouTube is. Anybody that's getting involved in YouTube, people could go, you know what? Why would you do that? Why would you give a platform your ideas? They could just take it away at any time. They're tempting you with making money. They're tempting you here and this. Why would you do that? Because I'm irrational. That's why. It's exciting to me. Oh, anyway, so maybe I could put together the whole book about it, like I was talking about. Maybe I could do that, because I do have some thoughtful ideas on how I could use harnessing the power of being naive into your everyday life, but also being able to being responsible about it. It's just an idea. I'm not saying that's what I'm going to do. So, you know, I'm just going to do it. Like just the other day. Here's an example. Just the other day, Sherry was online looking at a muscle car. She loves muscle cars. She wants to get another one day. She's online looking at it. She's, hey, look at this, man. It's only $17,000. It's a cool car. I could really do something with this. And I said, let's get it. Let's do it. We don't have a place to park it. We don't have a place for that, but let's do it. Let's get it. Let's do something totally irrational is exactly the words I told her. She was like, it's in Florida. And I said, let's drive it. Let's fly out there. Let's get the car. Let's drive it all the way back to Washington State. We will video it. We'll talk about the car. We'll do all kinds of stuff. We'll make a real cool, exciting adventure about it. Let's do that. Okay. But that's just the way I think. That's totally a rational thought. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and sharing the show. It means a lot. Reviewing the show is a big deal. Thank you so much. And have a great weekend. And we'll talk to you Monday for another T11. Bye.